before I went live. I just finished setting the time. Live. I wanted to wait for this fucking noise to stop over here, but maybe we can take a walk over there and see what they're doing since it's already live. The problem is my phone doesn't have much charge. That noise is pretty annoying though, right? I don't really want to talk with all that noise going on. Why don't we take a walk over there and see what they're doing? Hopefully my phone doesn't die. What do you think that is? Like a cement truck or something? Let's go find out. What the hell? I'm going to talk about flat Earth, but I didn't want to do it with all this noise going in the background. Show you the view of the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day in this neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. See what all this noise is all about. Oh, you know what it smells? Oh, that's what it is. It's a septic. Ooh, that reeks. Well, ugh. Grody. What's interesting is if you look at the layout here, where my house sits, the yard, there was a bunch of dirt that was taken out. I mean, the way this hill comes down, our yard was carved out. Like, there's a lot of dirt that was carved out. It's kind of hard to see with it being all overgrown. Well, I don't know how long they're going to be pumping their septic over there. It's kind of noisy. At least I can't smell it from over here. Is that annoying? Should I wait to do my stream for after that shit's not making all that noise? Or should I just talk? What do you think? Hey, basketball and beyond. I think I'm just going to try talking even though there's a loud noise of a septic tank being pumped over there. I'm going to talk about flat Earth. And why I thought it was ridiculous. Well, everybody thinks it's ridiculous. When you first hear about flat Earth, you're like, okay, give me a break. You know, like, what the fuck? Is that a joke? You know, and for me, I'm kind of like the guy that runs against the grain typically and Dr. Bass backwards. So I thought it was cool. You know, I was like, that's cool, right on. But I thought it was a joke, but I thought it was cool. I was like, that's a joke, right? That's cool. I like that. I'm down with the flat earthers. And then I just kind of went on with my day. When I first saw it, it was because of that guy, Mike, whatever, with his rocket. He's going to do, like, it was on Facebook. My dad was looking through his Facebook stuff, and there's this thing. It's all flat earth, Mad Mike or something. He's going to fly in his own homemade rocket. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Because I deleted my Facebook page long ago. And, like, so I wasn't even online at all. And I was just sitting there with my dad while he was going through his Facebook page, and that thing came up and I'm all, flat earth, what the fuck is that? Well, yeah, these guys actually think the earth is flat still. And I'm like, that's funny. And that's when I was just like, that's cool. Right on. I just thought they were kidding, you know, and I thought it was funny. And but then I didn't think anything of it and just kind of carried on. And I think a couple years went by, maybe at least 2 years went by. And I was watching Owen Benjamin, the washed up comedian from Hollywood, and he was making some belligerent videos, and I thought it was pretty funny. I kind of got into watching him for a little while, and I liked the little community of people that he was attracting. They all called themselves bears, you know. I was a bear for a little bit. I was like, I think I was Cinnamon Bear. I was two different bears. I was I think I was the Corona Bear, and I was Cinnamon Bear. But like, I was watching his shows, and he started watching flat Earth videos, and it was channel Taboo Conspiracy. I think it's Taboo Conspiracy 3 or 2 or now. The guy's name is Ben, and he was showing long distance photographs where, and he was doing all the math and everything and showing you how, like, you go to the Earth curve calculator online. It's made to figure this stuff out for you, so you figure out where the locations are, and you what the height of the camera is at, and figure out what the alleged curve of the Earth should be in said distance, and you just go out and you make observations and see if you can see things that are further away than what the curve allows or should allow. And and what he's finding is that it's like pretty much you're always going to see further than what the alleged curve is going to tell you should see. Like standing 6 feet at the shore, at sea level, a 6 foot person will see, like, no further than a couple miles before the horizon starts blocking the view of things. That's according to the Earth curve. But that's totally easily debunked. I mean, I can go down to Santa Cruz Beach down there and look across and see the sand on the shore of the Monterey Beach across. I think it's like 20 miles. Maybe not. Maybe I think it's about 20 miles. Maybe as a crow flies. I'm not quite sure about that, but this guy Ben was showing all kinds of videos. Taboo Conspiracy. His own Benjamin was watching it, and he was getting tripped out. He's like, I don't want to be a flat earther. This is crazy. Like, how could this be possible? And you see enough of those long distance videos where you're like, it seems like there's something here. This is kind of weird. Like, is the Earth curved or not? Like, the excuse that you get from people that think the Earth is curving, that they tell you that it's because of refraction that you're seeing these things that are far off that should be hidden by the curve, and where that might have some sort of validity. There might be some sort of validity to that argument, but it's just started to seem like an excuse, because it's like, here you're seeing Earth is presenting itself as a flat plane with zero curvature, and with your camera, these cutting edge, zoom cameras. I went and bought one of these cameras because I was just like, I got to get to the bottom of this, because most people that are just like, this can't be happening. If you really are passionate about wanting to learn the truth, like, I went and bought $1,000 camera and went to, because I live here in California on the West Coast, so perfect situation where I can go down and film the sunset, which is what I did with my camera. I went down and filmed this once I saw the sun setting into the horizon, where it looks like it's sinking below the curve of the Earth. I we took the camera and zoomed in on the sun, and brought the sun and the camera, back up into the sky where it wasn't sinking below nothing. So where you could see with your visual, with your naked eye looking at the sun, like, look, it's sinking below the curve of the Earth. It wasn't gone, but you could see it was like halfway below the curve of the Earth. It was what it looked like. But then when you look in the camera, you see that it's still way up in the sky. When it's zoomed in, you bring the gap between the horizon and the sun back into view. Then you're forced to just think about it like, wait, so what I thought I saw with my naked eye wasn't really what I was seeing. Like, I thought I was seeing the sun sink below the horizon because of this alleged rotation. We're rotating away from the sun, so it's being hidden behind the curve of the Earth, is what we're supposed to think. What we're programmed to think. What I thought I was seeing. But then we look in the camera, and that's not what's happening, because if you can bring the sun back into the sky in your zoom, in your camera, well, then right there, what you've done is you've proved to yourself that what you thought you were seeing wasn't really what was happening. And now there's people that want to make arguments against it. Well, the distance wasn't right. You just, whatever. There's excuses. Eventually, the sun would sink below the horizon, even in your cameras. Because things do get far enough away to where you can't see them anymore. But that's, you could, like, keep coping or something if you want to go that direction. But I like to just sort of look at the reality of the situation, which was, I thought I saw the sun sinking below the curve of the Earth. Turns out I was wrong. So I can try to cope and, like, make up excuses, or I can just accept the fact that what I thought was happening wasn't what was happening. And that combined with all the other observations I've seen people make where they're seeing things way too far away, like that shouldn't be in view. Whether or not it's refraction that's causing that to happen, I mean, it seems convenient that the refraction always, it's just able to make the Earth look like a flat plane. Like, I don't know if that's convenient. Well, I guess it's convenient if you're going to use refraction for an excuse, but like you just get to the point where you're like, well, why do I need to make an excuse for what I'm looking at? I mean, it's just like I'm seeing the Earth. It's like if it doesn't curve, I fucking it doesn't matter. Like I don't want to pretend there's something going on. When I don't see it, like if I just see too far, then maybe I'm just not seeing too far. I'm just seeing what I'm supposed to see. Like you don't need to like make up excuses for why you're seeing things. It's just there it is. And if there's no curvature, well, that's implying something. And if the sun wasn't really sinking below the horizon, that's implying something. That's implying that what you thought you knew about the Earth is you were mistaken. But the globe model wasn't just slapped together. It's not just like some haphazard model that was just strewn together without any, effort or something. It just brainwashed everybody. No, there's a lot of stuff about it that was really well crafted. It goes deep, and it's like the angles of the sun rises and the analemma and the tilt and the wobble and it's all been mathematically like I mean it's pretty impressive. Yet you don't get to hear it. I mean, if they're going to teach you about it, they're not really going to make a point to emphasize some of the things that I think need to be emphasized, which is like in the southern hemisphere, you need to make a bunch of corrections when using a compass. Corrections that are like pretty extreme at times. They call it magnetic declination. Whereas I don't think the northern hemisphere, I don't think you're really required to make corrections as often, which is, you know, this also means something, because if the Earth is flat the way it looks, then the southern area, it's like the outer area, the furthest regions away, it's like the extended part of the plane, it's going to be a wider expanse. Whereas on the globe, it starts, like you have to think about the globe Earth, how the south mirrors the north. It's like the median of the Earth being the 25,000-mile circumference. Now, when you think about it, if you make a circle on the ground, it doesn't matter how big of a circle you make on the surface of the Earth. If you go and make a circle on the ground, you're going to find that it's pretty difficult to make a smaller circle around the outside of that circle. And I don't really care how big of a circle you draw, the situation remains the same. Once you make that circle and you step outside of it, and then you walk all the way around the outside of your circle, it's going to be a bigger circle every time. But here, if you were to go draw the equator on the globe Earth, go measure it out on the surface of the Earth, we're supposed to think that you can make a smaller circle on the inside of it and the outside of it. Like you go either direction, it's going to be a smaller circle. That's pretty weird, man. I don't think that's what we would see. I think that's just a head trip. That's just like we don't have any reason to expect anything else to happen other than the circles that just get bigger. I don't think I'm being biased when I say that. I'm just speaking on experience and basic logic. That's what logic dictates. You draw a circle, and then if you try to draw a smaller circle around the outside of it, you'll find that it's impossible. It's an impossible task. It's a fool's errand. It can't happen. It doesn't matter how big of a circle you draw on the surface of the Earth. It's always going to be the same situation. You're going to be traveling around the outside of it, so it's always going to be a bigger circle. So if you just extrapolate that knowledge, that basic, obvious logic, extrapolate that out, that means the circles just get bigger and bigger and fucking bigger and bigger, 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 all the way out. So, since that's an obvious fact, Earth can't be a globe. I mean, I can't see it any different now that I've thought about that. And I know there's a lot of math and a lot of fancy, math with the globe model, and it's hard to shake a stick at really when some of it comes at you, and when you're like, well, they're like, how can you explain two poles, a southern pole and a north pole, on a flat Earth? And it's like, well, that's a good question. I don't know, but I don't feel like I have to explain. I don't have to give you a reason for that, but the globe model does have an answer for that, so that's pretty convenient for the globe model. I think that's where I run into the most cognitive dissonance with all of this is the 24-hour suns, and you know it has become a point of contention for sure, and I'm glad it's getting flushed out. I wish flat earthers would talk about it more because it's something that needs to be reckoned with. I guess, I mean, it's just something that's really fascinating, and it's kept this whole thing. It's made it a little bit more entertaining because for a while there it seemed like we couldn't lose as flat earthers. Every argument we made seemed to be the better argument, and then we come up against this one, and they finally got us on this one. It's a pretty good one. I'm not saying that I think the Earth is a globe all of a sudden. I think that was a good trick for sure. It could be true. I don't know. It seems to make sense, really. But that's to say that we know what the sky is and what's going on with the sky. And I know that seems like a cop out kind of, but all the same, I haven't been up to the sky. The sky operates differently than the ground does. And just because the sky is doing something, it doesn't dictate that the ground has to respond to that. I still stand by my original statement, which is a bigger piece of property is always going to have a bigger perimeter around it, all the way out. The bigger the property, the bigger the perimeter. You'll never see that expansive Earth start to shrink. It's always just going to get wider and wider and wider in every direction. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that. I think that's just like a fact, And I think anybody that would, like pretty much anybody on Earth, if they were to go out and start making these circles and how they get bigger and bigger, if they were to just focus on that effort, they would never expect to get a smaller circle. Their circles would be getting bigger and bigger. It'd take them longer and longer to get all the way back around. But every time they make a new circle, they see how much new space, how much more area is being added within their concentric circles. So they know they're always going to have a bigger circle. Nobody would ever expect it to get smaller because that would be impossible. That's counterintuitive, is what I'm saying. If anyone on Earth was just tasked with making concentric circles on the ground, and they just started, circles around circles, it just gets wider and wider and wider and wider. After a while, you see the pattern forming. They get bigger, and so like you just go about it, and I don't think a single person alive would ever expect that circle was going to do anything but get bigger. So therefore, nobody really thinks the Earth is a globe when they're put to like task, like interacting with the ground in a way that's logical. Nobody really thinks of the Earth as being a globe because nobody would really expect to get a smaller circle. Everybody would know intuitively that the circles would just get bigger, and they wouldn't even think twice about it because it would be so obvious. Because it's an impossible task to make a smaller circle around the outside of another one on the surface of the Earth. Nobody alive would expect that to happen. So nobody alive really thinks of the Earth as a globe. I know it's a bold statement, but it's true. But indoctrination does wonders. That's true too. I seen it on TV, man. I seen it on TV. I know it's true. We're flying through a vacuum right now. It's a fact. I don't want to have a swollen knee. I'd hate to have a swollen knee. That would hurt. They don't like the Flintstones? Abu Dhabi. What do you call a French man that's being attacked by a cat? Claude. Oh, that's a good one. That's good. You know how you rate a snake's movement in the snake race? How do you rate a snake's movement in a snake race? Anybody? On a sliding scale. You don't like my joke? What happened when Eve ate Adam's apple? It made Eve ill. Made Eve ill. She's still ill. I have other jokes I made up, but I can't think of them right now. Dag nabbit. Uncle Rick. I can't think of any of my other jokes. Boy, I got some good ones though. Just hang on a minute. When life gives you pickles, relish. Do I have any juice? Only at 7%. It's retarded, dude. Hey, Jared. I'm looking at my book here. Sometimes I find some pretty good stuff in here. Constipated constituents betwixt a moral dilemma, a virtueless signal, residual social stigma, bottled and backed up pressure, one popped cork away from a foul outburst. High stakes, deep faked faces taxed, and billed at the gates, tracked and traced, all breakthrough cases censored and silenced, and science and compliance and loose cannon allies who've never once. I can't read my writing anyway. That was good at first. The first part was good. There once was a storyteller named Rockefeller who lived alone in a cellar. He had no cell phone of his own to call home until one day a cell phone seller showed up at Rockefeller's home and asked if he'd like to buy a self-owned cell phone to call his own. Rockefeller said yes, of course, as long as it's not a phony cell phone. I'd like to know, 'cause phony cell phones don't. I could call my self-owned cell phone my own, but I can't call home with it, so the phony cell phone seller split. Yeah, like the other one. It was good at first, but then it kind of got fucked up. Self-stifling man. Self-stifling man stood stifled and can't be trifled with trivial pursuit of happiness. Laugh at this all you want. It's actually a tough stunt to pull off the wool in front of your eyes that hides the hidden forbidden truth. The proof is in the pudding, but where are you putting the proof? He hit the roof like a spoof of who he used to be, completely out of pocket. The anomalous fluke who flew the coop and found the loophole before they shut the back door and locked it. Meanwhile, somewhere in Spokane at the speakeasy, speaking speakers have spoken to crowds of loud-mouthed meatheads, spouting and sputtering, mindless banter, lowbrow antics, and half-ass hat tricks, distracted with the bread and circus act. The class clown. I can't read my writing. Cracked out. I need to get better at finishing these. Too many tall-talking tyrants have told too many tall tales and then tucked their tails and ran with it after failing themselves to the top. They stopped and it trickled down. It's the talk of the town, how the trickle down is no longer trickling down. And it has become a slow drip that evaporates before it hits the ground. The moment you don't need it, everything comes to you. No thanks, I don't need it anymore. 74 more forefathers fell on their swords trying to forge. I speak freely because I can. I'm a free-speaking man. I speak every day of the week at the speakeasy in Spokane. I'm the damn spokesman. Once there was a man who was dealt a dirty hand the day he was born. His deadbeat mom and his old man gave him a name that would make anybody pissed. Yes, they named him Dick Buttkiss. They could have called him Alec Baldwin, Windbag, Balderdash, Badwig, Butt Plug, Packer, Jimmy Joe, Blowjob, John Dingleberry, Crapstacker. Hell, they might as well have named the poor guy Scrote Knockin' Johnson or Titty Lickin' Thompson or even Dingbat Duffy or Douchebag Doug. I tell you what, even Humperdinck Cornwallis the Turd would have been better than what these ass clowns ended up deciding to pick. Yep, with the last name like Buttkiss, you got stuck with the first name Dick. That'd probably make a good song. The old Dick Buttkiss. They could have called him Alec Baldwin or Windbag Balderdink. They came up with the worst name I could ever think. A name like that, well, anybody'd be pissed to be named Dick Buttkiss. Dick Buttkiss, he was a dick, yes, but he didn't kiss that much butt, though. Dick Buttkiss. I don't know. Time is neither good nor is it bad. It just is what it is. Unless it isn't, then it ain't. You can file your complaints when it's over, but it's never done. So you'll just have to bite your tongue and hold that thought or drop it if it's hot. Too hot to handle. Perhaps you'd do better just to laugh and move on. One step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Flat-footed fools fall behind in the bedlam. It's been said before by someone, if you got no destination, you can never really be lost. Across the plain, there and back again, absorb the cost until you're not left a penny to spend, living life like a candle in the wind, blown out beyond a shadow of a doubt. You got your double standards, double back around, double agent, double trouble, double dare you. I got to make this into a poem. It's just all double things. Doubled over, double standards, double stack, double agent, double trouble, double dog dare, doubled up, double down, double mint gum, double barrel gun, double chin, double decker, double date, double cheeseburger, double player, double dribble, double drool. Double dip, double vision, double time, double bass drum, kick pedal, double U, double doppelganger, double clutch, double Dutch, double dragon, double digits, double team, double edged sword, stunt, double edged sword, double bypass, double knot, double header, double scoop, double stack, double standards, double take, double shot. It could be called the double song, trying to decouple song. Caboose, cut loose, train wreck averted, vitriol, entertaining mental acrobatics, weeping at the sight of a rocket caught in chopsticks, riddled by the antiquated quagmire, blind spots hardwired in, deliberation, brainstorm, form from the brain fog governing your mental confusion, one hallucination under God. Man-made alloys and amalgamations were all derived from the same cradle of creation. Every weapon that you wield against the innocent naive will be the weapons that ultimately are used to defuse the ticking time bomb you've become. Lost in allegory is your mistaken explanation, peters out and ends with no conclusion. Now you're riddled with confusion to wrangle in all your scattered and badly skewed tangential self-examinations is an overwhelming task. Perhaps all the traps and pitfalls along the path are in fact the only memories worth remembering. All your foes are surrendering as to avoid the void you're now entering. This one could be a song too. You better know which way the wind is blowing if you're trying to keep a good deception going. You gotta keep everyone as confused as can be, thinking 2 + 2 = 3, bickering back and forth about their objective reality. Gotta plug those leaks quick, 'cause the more leaks you let go, the more you're left exposed and indisposed. Keep on your toes if the truth is your enemy. Their bullshit will walk to the bank laughing. There wasn't much else after that. Evidently, the eventual disclosure was more of an enclosure, and we're no closer to what was hoped for, although anyone who really wants to know just has to consider the bitter truth is bitterest to he who it exposeth, and therefore just trace it back to had all the facts blacked out and redacted, and simply hold whoever that is accountable for it all. And if that individual don't appreciate it, then perhaps they can help fight back against evil instead of capitulating with it. There's no amount of bribery that should make someone want to take the fall for someone else's crimes against humanity. The race was over before it begun. Fucking pointless, didn't need to be run. It was ran, it was over and done. 'Twas all for show, as if we didn't know, completely oblivious to the joke being played. A stupid prize is awarded to you who play stupid games. Have no idea how it could have gotten that far before realizing exactly where you are, which is right back where you started. It's easy to see how you might feel retarded. I got like a whole book worth of country lyrics just waiting to happen. Like a derelict tidal wave comes through town fast, and instantly the place is upside down, trashed. Flash flood alarms did not sound. Whatever bullshit narrative you're fed is not what they said. Red your... Oh no. Oh, this is a good one here. Red tape, white privilege, blue. Red alert, white noise, play the blues. Red mercury, white privilege, blue. Shoot, no. Here we go. Red carpets, white walls, blue balls, red wine, white powder, blue pills, red rockets, white clouds, blue skies. Red scent, white night, blue eyes. Red line, white lies, true blue. Red rum, white water, blue moons. Red rooster, white rabbit, blue birds. Red devil, white pride, blue blood. Red eyes, white knuckles, blue tooth. You get red your rights in your whitewashed world. Blue jeans. Blood red and milky white. Sky blue. Roses are red, daisies are white, violets are blue. Red house, white house, blue roofs. The blue roofs. Those are the ones that don't light on fire. Map this, gaggle earth. Stagger back 5 paces, then spiral staircases. 4 hours and 7 assassins ago, our storytellers found good reason to claim ownership of someone else's stuff and provide a steady gaslighting campaign. and provide a steady gaslighting campaign to be applied wherever cracks form in their feeble narrative. Map this, gaggle earth. Stagger back 5 paces, then spiral staircases. 4 hours and 7 assassins ago, our storytellers found good reason to claim ownership of someone else's stuff and provide a steady gaslighting campaign to be applied wherever cracks form in their feeble narrative. The best advice I can offer is for you to take your own advice. Like that. That's a good bumper sticker or something. The most insulting thing you've ever said to someone is exactly what you are. And the nicest compliment you've ever given someone is also who you are as well. We know ourselves better than we know the people around us. The things we say are a reflection of who we are. Projection is a real thing. Whatever the most like that, the most insulting thing you've ever said to someone is exactly what you are. Pack that in your pipe and smoke it. That was just so funny. I don't think most of this stuff was ever meant to be read out loud. The merry-go-round was going too fast, where when you were young it was such a blast. The world from back then was gone in a flash, buried underground with yesterday's trash. Cutting edge gets chopped off, and you can see the exponential progress on the charts and graphs. We're up shit creek without a raft. The future came and went. Now, if you're asking the ass king to kiss his ass king ring around his ass king finger, that's just an act of submission, man. Teach it how to dance, how to button up your pants, how to water your plants and schedule all your plans. Teach it how to pay your bills, feed you pills, clean up your spills. Teach it how to carry you up steep hills. Teach it how to build a building, paint a painting. That's just where it ends. Teach it how to walk, how to talk, how to pick a lock, and how to read your mind. Teach it how to jump rope, how to cook dope, how to tell a joke, but it don't understand the punchline. Teach it how to repeat it, but can it keep a secret? I don't think so. It won't know why. April Fools bring May tricks. April Fools bring May tricks. They trick your mind, and now your world has been completely redefined. When you look really close between the lines, you can see this here isn't God's design. Somewhere along the line, someone or something has intervened and quietly began merging man with machine. Surface level thinking is weak sauce. Cheap talk can't reach past skin deep. Cheap shots, curbside service, spoon-fed bread and circus, fake-ass fast food, deep fried, freeze-dried slop, devoid of any food for thought. Gives you gut rot. Better off not engaging in such malnutrition. A nonsensical suggestion will give you mental indigestion. Some of the shows are so weird. Fidget spinning fanatics. No, it's selfish to self-assembling fidget spinning fanatics who've inadvertently been inundated with imitations passed off as another one of those dead ends. I am not me, you are not you. We are not these shells we're talking through. We've simply manifested in this material form, working through the physical world in which we've been born, normalizing the strangest things for lack of anything to compare it to. There's no new normal, but anything can be normalized. So by the same token, there's no weird, but anything can be weirdoized. Oh yeah, I forgot about that song. The job is never done when you're blocking out the sun. It's not condensation, it's a chemical cloud. It don't dissipate, it just spreads around and drips down all over you. Barium, aluminum, and strontium too. Lithium, aluminum, and mercury too. These are a few of the metal particulates are spraying on you. Every day, here they come again. It never ends. The job is never done when you're blocking out the sun, son. Get her done. It's not condensation, it's a chemical cloud. That's why it don't dissipate. It just spreads around all day and drips all over you. Goodbye, blue sky. Here they come again. It never ends. And job is never done when you're blocking out the sun, son. Jim Doe, Jim Anus, Lord Racer, DeWitt, Straight Laces. How come you don't have a wrench there, buddy? What's going on here? There you go. DeWitt. Do it, Straight Laces. Just do it. Too many tall-talking tyrants have told too many tall tales while they failed themselves to the top, then tucked their tails and ran a run-around campaign, diverting attention the other way. And now talk of the town is at the top is toppling down, and the trickle down has stopped trickling down. But they tripled down, saying, "Stop tripping, look, it's still dripping," as the last drip dropped into the palm of his hand. Then he laughed as he left and slammed the door. He took the last drop. It doesn't drip drops anymore. Manifest math as a last-ditch smokescreen. Scream 4 score 7 more minus 1 is 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. Invert the 9 and it's a 6, which is 2 threes. And you know what that means when you see number 33. Manifest math. Manifest math is a last-ditch smokescreen. I like that. Manifest math is a last-ditch smokescreen. Succumb to the dumb down and the damage is done now. It's all fun and games till you're run down, spun out, hung out to dry, misguided, blindsided, downgraded, infiltrated, co-opted, psyopted, downsized, cut off, karate chopped, waxed on and waxed off, lost in the weak sauce and led astray by the head of the CIA to be gunned down dead by the end of the day under the spell of a well-played hand. Truth is hidden on the other side of your pride. Beware, tooth and nail fighters are scratchers and biters. Can you afford to absorb cheap shots and dodge low blows? Red flags go up in a flash if they refuse cash. Some of these are perfect country lyrics. Love it or leave it or let love settle in and level out, but never leave your love out on a limb. That's good. Alone when the wind is blown, the one... I don't know, I can't even read my writing. Alone when the wind is... Love it or leave it or leave it or... Love it or leave it or let love settle in and never leave level out, never and level out or never leave love out on a limb again. Love it or leave it or let love settle in and level out, but never leave your love out on a limb. Alone in the wind. That's what it was. Aloft in the breeze, blowing through the trees. Who knows where the wind will leave you? I like that. Love it or leave it or let love settle in and level out, but never leave your love out on a limb. That's good, dude. I gotta make that a song. I was just a kid acting smart. Now I'm an adult playing dumb. And I sincerely don't believe I've ever fooled anyone. I realize I never done what I set out to do, and it's going to be now or never pretty soon. Time has gone by so fast while I was stuck in the past trying to make a moment last. Gotta pull my head out of this cloud that's being seeded before it begins to rain in my brain, flood my thoughts with mundane and meaningless chatter. Seems like there needs to be something that rhymes with chatter. It's not quite done. The fish for the sea and the forest for the trees. Fines for unpaid fees, blindsided, muted melodies. Simulations of the real thing, the Milky Way and the non-dairy alternative. What is that? Oh, the Soy Way Galaxy. Welcome to the Soy Way Galaxy. Milky Way or the non-dairy alternative. We got your prepackaged government-approved fallacies. Welcome to the Soy Way Galaxy. In the news. The old scapegoat had to skip town. You can crap that whip. The old scapegoat had to skip town. You can crack that whip or whip that crack pipe out. Trap, trick, the bait got switched. Zip past so fast you got whiplash trying to track his ass. He's gone ghost in an invisibility cloak, concealed safe behind a force field, forced to feel false hope without the weight of misdirected hate. I like that part. You'd zip past so fast you get whiplash trying to track his ass. He's gone ghost in an invisibility cloak. I like a lot of this shit. This is a pretty good book. As I wait the weight of the world to weigh me down, I watch the way the world looks away right when they should be witnessing what will inevitably be their own fate. As if ignorance could be bliss, I say it looks to be more like obliviousness. We've been trained to be like this. It's ingrained in our brains and our very DNA that we should appear strong willed, stoic, impervious to nervousness, ready to face anything life has to throw at us. While deep down inside, below our pride, there's a frightened little child who'd do whatever it takes to put on the brakes and quickly find a place to hide until the threat has been diffused. However, below that inner child, even further down, inside the quiet little voice, that's where God resides. It's this faint voice below all the bedlam. I don't think that was meant to be a poem. I had 2 deja vus, mirroring weird things of familiarity back and forth for all eternity. Oh yeah, have you ever had that where your deja vu was like a deja vu that you had before? So it was like looking in 2 mirrors, where it's like just reflecting the same thing over and over. So it's like it was kind of that kind of sensation where it's like this is deja vu, but last time it was deja vu, which was deja vu then, which was deja. It's like an infinite, eternal deja vu. What do they call those? Just deja vu repeater. Have you ever had those? Where it's like you know, it's a deja vu times 2. I never met a medium who wouldn't have known I'd already be meeting him. I never met a medium that wouldn't have known that I'd already be meeting him, and that sure as hell wouldn't have seen it coming, so I hope I'm not being summoned right now by someone who's up to something somehow, or under the impression that I need to be taught a lesson. When your paranoia keeps you guessing. If Jesus was here, what would he do? What would he have said? Is it too much work to try to wrap your head around it? Would he say to turn the other cheek, or would he suggest to try to beat them at their game, or perhaps just find some common ground? Who else has their words more heard? Would he turn some tables over? When the tables have turned, when the tables have been turned. All right. Fucking coming up to the end of this book here. Circling the drain. I'm circling the drain. You have to quickly learn to swim, or the whirlpool will pull you in. Circling the drain. That'd be a good idea. That'd be a good theme for a song. Circling the drain. That's totally good. You could turn it into like a grunge kind of like circling the drain. You know what I mean? Flash flood, flash freeze, flash in the pan, news flash, newscast, newspaper stand. I'm a serious man. Understand what's up? You think I'm blowing smoke up your ass? I'll tell you, no, I can't read my writing. I'll tell you when I'll. Oh yeah. Oh, that was a good one. I like that one. Blow smoke out my butt. I could swear I made that into a song one time. Blowing smoke out my butt. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll hear something and I'll read. I'll be like, dude, that was a song that I had. It was really good, and I totally forgot about it. So I just make up so many dumb songs, and some of them are good. So most of them get forgotten. That's why I try to like record as much goofy shit that I can record, so it's recorded and not to be forgotten. Doctor, your inborn honesty and sense of humor transfer seamlessly onto. Thank you. I'm just being a silly guy usually. But yeah, I do like to vent and just play with words. take a little break. I'm doing a fucking YouTube marathon though, in case you haven't noticed. Because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, and when you do these live streams on the fucking portrait mode, it shows your stream in the fucking shorts. So people that are doom scrolling through the shorts will stop and see Dr. Bass on their way through. So you get all these crazy amounts of views. Like I used to get like 20 views for my live streams, and then I started doing it like this, and now I'm getting like hundreds of views. So there's a little tip if anybody wants to be seen, you can be more seen. I think it's kind of cool to do this because then I can talk about flat Earth, and a bunch of people that never would ever like want to hear about it will have to hear about it for a second. You know that? Did you know that I'm an uprising Earther now? Don't tell anybody. I don't know. I am though, because I finally understand their what they were saying, and it finally makes sense to me. Although like the conclusion is so extreme, and like I still just kind of like laugh about it because I don't really. It's too hard to believe, but the evidence that they're showing isn't evidence; it's proof, and so you kind of just left with like, well, fuck. And I was trying to look at it. I mean, for a while I didn't understand. I thought they were being totally screwballs, and I was like, why are these people taking this seriously? And I didn't get it. I just couldn't get it. I was not going to get it. I thought it was ridiculous, but I was fascinated, and I couldn't engage with them because they all took it really seriously. And so my questions sounded like I was making fun of them or something, But I was just asking the questions that anybody would want to ask. But still, I mean, I get it. I understand why they were defensive because now I get defensive when I hear people capping on it. And like I have to restrain myself because I remember that I used to think it was stupid too. But like, here, I'll explain it real quick. Because I didn't understand I always thought the accelerometer was their best evidence because an accelerometer shows that there's an upwards force. And when it's in free fall, it shows that it's at rest. But I'd only seen the digital ones on cell phones. And so I was just like, I don't know. I mean, that's interesting, but I don't know what that fucking thing is or what it's doing on it. It could just be something that's programmed to show you some numbers. I don't know what the fuck it's good evidence, but it's just, I don't know what that thing is. So it's just telling you some numbers. It's just a digital toy or whatever. But then I finally saw an analog accelerometer. And that's when it all clicked and I started to go, oh, fuck. There is something here. And it's impossible to make an argument against. Because it's just a fact. And that's when I realized that, oh, man. Well, not only do I got to eat my words, but this is just too much. I'm trying to find a picture of it that I drew because I think it's a good way to show people what I'm talking about here. I'm just telling you my experience. For 6 months, I think easily a half a year, maybe even longer, I've been watching the Uprising Earth content, which there isn't much of. Here it is. And I quickly became ousted from the community. I'm banned on some of the channels still. But that didn't stop me from watching them because I was just fascinated, And I finally get it now. And it was a demonstration of an analog accelerometer that showed me. Because the digital one could just be numbers on a screen. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I couldn't modify my worldview based on what a cell phone is saying. It's just where I stood on that. But I thought it was a good argument nonetheless. And now this is what an analog accelerometer is going to show you. This thing has a certain weight to it. Imagine that. This thing's got a weight. It's a weight or whatever. But it's held in place by these springs, that keep it in the middle when it's at rest. And it's in a cage, So whenever there's a force pushing on it, it's going to cause the weight of this thing to go towards where the force is coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like if I grabbed this thing and I went, and I pushed it that way, this weight is going to trigger this spring here, and it's going to give you a reading that says there's a force coming from this way because that spring was triggered. It's obvious. It's like if you step on your gas, you get pulled against a seat, it would trigger the spring. So there's a force coming from this way, pulling this weight back. It's pretty easy to understand, right? You take this thing and it's even, whatever way you push it, you can see it's always going to give you the correct reading where the force is coming from. You're pushing it. It's a force. You're forcing it to go somewhere. And so the weight of this is going to push on the spring and give you a reading from where the motion, the force, whatever the force is coming from, is going to tell you where that's coming from. So, and you can see that it works perfect. It's never going to give you the wrong reading or something. And so, because it's obvious, it makes sense, right? And so when you drop this thing in free fall, it shows you that it's at rest, that there's no force acting on it. That means that there's no downward force. It shows that there's no force acting on it when it's in free fall. It says 0. There's 0 force right now, which would lead you to believe it's at rest, because that's how this thing fucking works. And now when this thing lands on the ground like this, say this is the ground right here. Now the weight of this thing is going to press down on this spring and give you a reading that says there's an upwards force. While it was in free fall, it said there was no force. I'm at rest right now. When I finally hit the ground, boom, the weight of this thing presses down on this spring, tells you there's an upwards force here. And you see how this thing works. Whenever you force it, whatever direction you're forcing it, it's going to tell you correctly which direction the force is coming from, because it's a simple, I don't know if I can explain it any more clear. This thing has a weight. And so whenever there's a force acting on it, it's going to cause this weight to go towards the direction of the force and give you the reading. And it tells you an honest reading that you can't debate. It's like, it's obviously how this thing works. Whenever it's giving you a reading, it's telling you which direction the force is coming from. While it's at free fall, it's telling you there is no force here. I'm finally at rest. It hits the ground, boom. Now it's telling you there's a force coming from this way, up. So there's no force pushing down, but there is a force pushing up. So I'm just trying to share that with the flat earthers of the world who think it's stupid, because it's actually something you can't really argue with. And the more you say it's a psyop or fucking stupid, the more you look like a fool. I used to be you, so I'm not judging or anything, but I'm just saying. I love you guys.